Hello, good afternoon, friends. This is Sandeep Sharma from Kabil Bano. How are you? Welcome to the mock session, which is the third mock session in just 4 or 5 days. Now, this mock session was very much needed for the students because, as we have already promised, that we would be giving you the opportunity to attend 12 webinars, which would be given by industry professionals. And so each and every student should have some feel of how a webinar would look like. So that is why we have organized three mock webinars. The first one was on Saturday last week. The second one was on Monday at 5 p.m. And today is the third mock webinar. However, I must tell you that I am slightly disappointed with the response that has been there from the student community. Hardly, let's say, about 10 students were there attending the webinar on Saturday. And on Monday, even let's say about 7 students were there attending the webinar. So more than 3,000 students have registered with us so far. So you can very well see for yourself the response rate for these webinars. Now, I would request all the students to take the webinars very, very seriously because, see, this is an opportunity for you to interact, to get to know the industry professionals. Not only will you get some knowledge about the industry people, about the company, so you would also be getting the opportunity to network with the industry professional. For example, if I'm the HR manager of some company, and if you can hear me speak, then maybe at the end of the webinar, I'll share my contact details. So you can use those contact details and ask the HR manager for a job or a vacancy after 3 or 4 months. So it's always good to be connected. You can add that person on Facebook. You can add that person on LinkedIn. So it's really useful for you people. So I would again ask all the students to become very serious about webinars. I understand that all the students are, very busy with their coursework, with their curriculum. You must have some paper submissions coming in at the end of this week, or maybe next week as well. But you can take out some, let's say, 45 minutes to 1 hour to attend this particular webinar. This is very, very useful for you. And so let me take the opportunity of this webinar and tell you some more points, which I have also mentioned in the previous mock sessions. So far, as I've already told you, that there are more than 3,000 students who have registered with Kabil Bano across different cities, across different colleges. But hardly 1,800 students are using the School Logic platform. स्कूल लॉजिक प्लेटफॉर्म किसके लिए? आप ही के लिए है ना. तो अगर आप यूज नहीं करोगे तो फिर मतलब क्या है स्कूल लॉजिक प्लेटफॉर्म का? तो दिस प्लेटफॉर्म इज फॉर यू. आप लोग यूज करो इस प्लेटफॉर्म को. Only 1,800 students have logged on the School Logic platform. What about the rest 1,200 students? What are they doing? They must have received the emails. Now, if you have received the emails, what are you waiting for? You should immediately join School Logic. And if you have not received the emails, then I mean, are you sleeping? I mean, you should obviously send us an email that you have not received the email. So send, if those students who have not received the email from our side and who have registered with us, immediately send an email to sheetal.pillai@kabilbano.com stating your name and your college name and stating that you have not received the email. So the email ID, I will repeat it again. It is Sheetal, SHEETAL dot PILLEY@kabilbano.com. So again, please send an email. If you have not received the registration details from our side, please don't, just don't become lazy, don't sleep. Please send an email to Sheetal. Also, many of your friends who might not have received this email, ask them to check once in the spam folders. What happens is that many a times there are many emails which are being sent by many companies, and Gmail blocks those emails and sends them to the spam folder. So check your spam folders once, and even if you have not received our emails in the spam folder, immediately send an email to Sheetal, as I have already told you the email ID of Sheetal. So this was the first point. The second point was that we have lined up some interesting companies and interesting industry professionals for you for webinars. Some of the companies are, for the first company would be Tata Solar Power. And so we would be having a senior marketing manager from Tata Solar Power who would be, interacting with you. So that is the first thing. The second thing is that there are professionals coming in from companies like Swan Energy, Alstom, and Jan Irrigation Systems. So these are core companies for manufacturing, candidates. There are many students who have told us, even many training and placement officers have also told us that it would really be great if we could interact, if we could enable the interaction of the students with core companies. So I have just now told you the names of three, four companies which are core companies, and these would be interacting with the students over the next 3, 4 weeks. So let's say per month we had promised about one webinar, so we would be having about 2 or 3 webinars in this month, and from the next month onwards, one webinar per month would be organized, so that we complete our quota of 12 webinars. So core companies would also be coming, and then there are IT companies also. So we have lined up one mock webinar, one webinar from Infosys. So there is a program manager in Infosys who would be joining all of us, and she would be sharing some insights with you. So that is one. We are also trying to line up some sessions from Capgemini and Cognizant. So these would also be, there for you. So we are trying to give you a healthy mix of core companies as well as IT companies. So let's say about 6 to 7 webinars would be for core companies, and let's say 5 to 6 would be from IT companies. So this is the other point that I was trying to make. So this gives you all the more reason to become much more serious and attend the webinars. Because if the industry professional, gives the webinar, and if he sees that, let's say, hardly 3 or 4 students are attending the webinar, this will not be, good for the industry professional, and obviously this will certainly not be good for the students. The industry professional will have a very bad view about the students. So all of you should become serious and attend the webinars. All the details about the actual webinars would be posted on the Schoology platform at least one day before in advance. So if the session is on Friday, you shall receive the link for attending the webinar at least by Thursday. By Thursday, you shall be receiving it. Why we are giving just 1 or 2 days of time is because most of the times industry professionals are not, free. So we normally want to give more time, but normally what happens is, since they are not free, we confirm with them again one day before the webinar whether the webinar would actually be there, and then we would give you the time. So that is why we have a holding period of just one day. एक दिन का टाइम हम लेंगे क्योंकि वो फ्री नहीं रहते हैं. ठीक है, सो एक दिन पहले हम उनसे कंफर्म करके पूछ लेंगे कि आप अगर कल फ्री हो, कल कंफर्म कर रहे हो, देन ओनली वी विल गिव यू द इंफॉर्मेशन. Most of you would be having your 7th semester university examinations. We know that आप लोगों का वर्कलोड बहुत ज़्यादा है, बट आपसे सिर्फ एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है. जस्ट टेक आउट 15 minutes फ्रॉम योर डेली स्केड्यूल. 15 मिनट निकालने हैं. दैट्स नॉट अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क. सो यू शुड कीप योर ऑब्जेक्टिव इन माइंड विच इज फाइनल प्लेसमेंट्स. 15 मिनट का टाइम निकालिए. 15 मिनट में लेट्स से एक ही वीडियो देखिए हमारे, सिर्फ एक वीडियो देखिए, एंड वन वीडियो इज मोर देन इनफ. 15 minutes इज मोर देन इनफ पर डे. आप अगर उतना भी देख लोगे तो उतना भी बहुत है. So these are the points that I was trying to make, and so let me just run you through the course on resume refinement. And so let me just run you through that particular course. मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि एक typical resume में क्या होना चाहिए और क्या नहीं होना चाहिए. So let me just start with that. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to share my screen with you. So there is a course on resume refinement which is also posted on Schoology platform. And in this course, you will learn what is a resume, why is a resume important for students, and so basically, what are the things that should be included in a resume, and what are the recruiters looking for. And we are also providing some important points to be considered by the students in drafting their resume. For example, what are the mistakes that should be avoided? What are the important points regarding the font size, regarding the font style? What are the others important points about formatting? How lengthy should a resume be? So these are the basic things that we are trying to cover in this particular course. So basically, this is let's say about 20 minutes course. So just imagine in 20 minutes you will be able to exactly understand very quickly what is a resume, and how you should prepare a very good resume, and what are the details that you should completely ignore while drafting your resume. So let's quickly look at the basic definition of a resume and how is a resume different from a biodata, or let's say yes, a biodata. So a resume, as most of you know, that it is one of the most important tools in job search and selection process. Now, every HR manager receives, let's say, about more than 100 resumes. So basically, more than 100 students are interested for every vacancy. And the first step or the first tool in the hands of the HR manager through which he can screen candidates is the resume. So it is very useful, and the HR manager would look at the resume so that the profile of the candidate is highlighted. So what is his education, what is his experience, what are the skills that he has acquired, what are his strengths. So these are looked at by the HR manager in the resume, and these are extremely critical for determining the suitability of a particular candidate for a particular job opening in a company. Now, why is it important? I mean, it is very important, and there is no there is it would be an understatement to state that the resume is very important, because there are many candidates who wish to be selected. The first step in the selection process, which is the resume selection, that becomes very important. So without the resume, it is impossible for the recruiter to look into the profiles and credentials of many unknown candidates. For example, going back to the previous example, let's say there's a vacancy in a company, and more than 100 students from your college have applied for that vacancy. HR manager does not know all of you, right? So it becomes very difficult for the HR manager to identify the right candidates just by looking at your names. So a resume is very important. So resume helps the HR manager to select candidates. So the candidates must prepare a very good resume to attract the recruiter. Now, what should be included in a good resume? So, we have interacted with a number of HR managers and recruiters, and generally there are two types of resumes. The first is a chronological resume. The second is a functional format or a functional resume. Most of the recruiters have told us that a chronological resume is an ideal resume for freshers who are fresh graduates. Now, the term chronology means time related. For example, in a chronological resume, all the details related to your education and experience would be listed according to the year in which these have happened. That is, from the existing year to the previous years. For example, if I have completed my, let's say, MBA in 2014, and if I have completed my engineering in 2012, if I have completed my HSC in 2008, so this is the order in which I will write it: first MBA, then engineering, then HSC. Normally what many students do is, first of all, they write their HSC, then their engineering, then their MBA, so which is not correct. So the correct order, the correct time order should be first your MBA, then your engineering, then your HSC, and then if you want, you can write your SSC. So this is the order. So this is the chronological resume. And what is a functional format? A functional format is typically, for example, this is generally for more experienced professionals. For more experienced professionals, they can write their different skills. For example, they have worked, let's say, in a marketing function. So they can write about their marketing function, and then in that marketing function, in how many companies have they worked, and then they can provide the details about their work role in different companies. So this is a functional format. For fresh graduates, it's not needed, because we are talking about giving experiences in different skills, which is clearly not there for fresh graduates. So that is why a chronological resume is preferred by the recruiters. Now let's look at what are the typical contents, what are the typical sections of a good resume. So now, as soon as you open the document, as soon as you open the resume, the first thing that comes in front of you is your name and your contact details. Now, let me just tell you, it is a very, very simple thing, but name and contact details, this section is really, really, really very important for all the students. Because, see, if your name is written incorrectly, I mean, it throws you in a very, very bad impression, very bad light in front of the HR manager. If a candidate is not able to write his name properly, then how will he handle the responsibilities of the job? So this is a fatal mistake for the students. The name must be clearly mentioned at the top on the first page of the resume, and if you want, it can be in bold letters. And you should always use your full name. For example, there are many candidates who write as, for example, my name is Sandeep Kumar Sharma. So many a times there is a tendency for the students to write as Sandeep K Sharma or Sandeep K dot S, which is not correct. So always write your full name, and your first name should always come first. For example, just imagine if I write my name as Sharma Sandeep Kumar. See, Sharma is a very common surname in India. But what happens if the name of the person is Saurabh Suman? So if the person writes as Suman Saurabh, there is a lot of confusion in the minds of the HR manager. So you should always write your first name. And by the way, first name is called the first name because it should always come first. That's why it is called the first name, right? So there should not be any ambiguity, no confusion in the minds of the recruiter. So always put your full name and always give your first name and then the last name. And you can put it in bold if you want. So this is it. And the other important point about this section is that your contact details must be written very, very neatly and correctly. For example, what details should be given? First is only one mobile number should be given. Don't give two mobile numbers. Give just one working mobile number. Two mobile numbers can create a confusion. Just give one working mobile number, and please ensure that your email address is typed correctly. Even a mistake of a dot, for example, my email address is sandeep.sharma@kabilbono.com. If I don't include that dot, the email will not be sent to me. So avoid any mistakes in contact details. Now, this can be a fatal mistake. Why this can be a fatal mistake? Because I have already told you that for any opening, there are hundreds of candidates who give their resumes. And the HR manager will not look for the correct email address. For example, if the HR manager likes your resume and if he wants to send you a communication that, okay, fine, your resume is good and I want to, let's say, send you an email, he will not be able to send you the email because the email address is incorrect, and the HR manager will not take further efforts in finding out your correct email. He will not even call you up because there are many other candidates in the frame, many other candidates in the queue. So avoid mistakes in contact details. You can either get screened or shortlisted. If you have you cannot get shortlisted definitely if you are giving incorrect contact details. So that is there, and you can also mention your permanent address or your current address, but that is not that important. Please make sure that if you mention your address, this should be in just one line. It should be very, very short. So I hope everybody is clear regarding the first section, which is the name and contact details. Now let's look at the profile summary or the objective. Now, profile summary is written by most of the candidates. So even in European countries, even in American countries, most candidates write profile summary. In India, what we write is an objective. So that is what I have seen. So we have seen the resumes of, let's say, more than 500, 600 candidates, and most of them write objectives, career objectives. Now, just imagine that. Okay, I'll go back again to the same example that for any vacancy there are 100 job openings. Now, the HR manager in such a situation has only 3 or 4 choices to make how he should select the right candidate out of 100, and he does not have that much of time to go through each and every resume for, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes. In such a situation, what he will do is, first of all, the first option is that he will just close his eyes, और एक लॉटरी सिस्टम टाइप का रहेगा. ही विल स्टार्ट पिकिंग रेज्यूमेस ऑन अ रैंडम बेसिस. आज चलो ये निकाल लिया, ये निकाल लिया, ये निकाल लिया, ऐसे ऐसे रैंडम बेसिस पे निकाल लिया. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन दैट ही हैज. The second option is that he will have his own contacts, and those are references. So he'll ask his references कि अगर कोई अच्छा candidate है तो वो हमें दे दो. The third is he will start using some keywords. He will, for example, if the job requires CAD or CAM, the recruiter will run a search engine, and in that search engine too, he will use the keyword CAD. Now, if you have mentioned in your profile summary or your career objective that I want to use my CAD or CAM skills for the development of the projects, for the development of the company, and to learn and to master CAD or CAM in the next 2 or 3 years, then the HR manager will be really impressed. And also in the search engine, your resume will get shortlisted. So this is the benefit. The recruiter will only spend about 30 seconds on a resume, and as soon as he looks at your profile summary or your career objective, the recruiter should be clearly able to identify, okay, that this candidate has these skills. So this is really really important for the candidate. So don't write generic career objectives. For example, don't write I want to use my skills for the betterment of the company. Don't, this is a very generic statement. Or don't write I want to become a good engineer. In many seminars, many students have told me that I want to become a good engineer. I want to, let's say, use my skills for the development of the company. I want to learn skills. All these are very, very generic statements. So always be very, very specific. Identify your key strengths, identify your key technical skills, and highlight those key technical skills in your profile summary or career objective. For example, let me give you a very, very crisp and good career objective. This is the career objective of a student from Raj Rajeshwari College of Engineering in Bangalore. So this is what he wrote. A BE mechanical student of this batch from Raj Rajeshwari College with 3 months of internship experience in CAD, in L&T, and career interest in CAD and CAM. So the HR manager clearly knows that he is a mechanical student from this college and he has internship experience in CAD, and that too in L&T, and he also is interested in the future in CAD and CAM. So this is very crisp. If there's an opening in the company which is into CAD or CAM, the HR manager will be clearly shortlisting this particular resume. So this is the example of the profile summary. So I hope, see, the overall objective of this particular, so I hope, see, this presentation, this screen was shared with you. This was just for the students get a feel of how the presentations would be shared with the students. And so basically you can also hear my voice when I share the presentation. So this is how the exact mock webinar would look like. And so basically when we would be having the actual webinar, you could also ask some questions. So you would also be given the opportunity to do that. So this is really, really good. So please use this particular opportunity. And if you have any questions at any point of time, you can contact me, you can contact Sheetal, or you can contact Imtiaz. So we three are, the face of Kabil Bano in front of all the students. So when I depart, so I would again request all the students, and if there are any students whose friends have not yet registered on Schoology platform, I would request all of them to drive your friends, to motivate them to log on to Schoology platform, because that is a very very important way of communication between Kabil Banu and students. We have also created WhatsApp groups for most of the students, but please understand that the Schoology platform is really really good. As and I can clearly see that some students are moving out. So we are almost near the end of the webinar. So I would like to thank all those 3 viewers who attended the webinar, and again one person has joined now. So I would like to thank those people who have joined the webinar, and let's see when the actual webinar is scheduled. I would request all of you to join the actual webinar. Okay. So thank you so much, and please let us know if you have any doubts or queries. You can send us an email or you can post your doubts or queries on the School Logic platform. And we are committed to help you in placements, as we have told you numerous times during the seminar as well, both me and Imtiaz. So we remain committed to that. But the only thing is that we should have, this is a common responsibility. Even the students need to shoulder that responsibility. They need to study well, because we can bring companies maybe let's say tomorrow as well to your college, but that would be a useless thing because you would not be able to crack the interviews. So I would really request all of you to prepare for the next 2 or 3 months, so that both the objectives of both of us can be very very successful. Even you can get placed, and even we can bring in companies, and we can help you get placed, and then we can also earn some money by getting you placed. So this is the objective. So with this statement, with this last statement, I would like to thank all of you again for your support of काबिल बनो, and please avail all the benefits. अगर इतने कम प्राइस में अगर इतने सारे benefits मिल रहे हैं, so please use all those good benefits. And so hopefully we would be having the actual webinar either in this week, maybe on Saturday, because most of the students would be free on Saturday or Sunday. So most probably, अगर this Saturday Sunday को होता है तो it's fine. Otherwise, on a weekday next week. So I would intimate the details of the exact webinar 1 day or maximum 2 days before the actual webinar. And so this is the office. This is my cabin here. So I'm just talking from my cabin. So you can see this cabin here. And so this is my cabin, and we have an office here in Mumbai, in Mulund. And there are about 10 professionals who are working with us. And so Imtiaz is there. So Imtiaz's cabin is just beside my cabin here. And I would request all the students, whoever is in Mumbai, to visit our office in Mumbai. And if anybody from Kolhapur or Satara or Aurangabad, or if from any other region wants to visit our office, please do that. We would really love to have you here at our office. It would really be a pleasure. So thank you again. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to interact with you again during the next webinar. The next webinar will be conducted by someone from the industry. So thank you so much for your time, and have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.